Not like Mountain first thing in the morning, huh?
Yeah, get you fired up.
Get you fired up. It is 6:44. Welcome to Great Day. Another guy gets us fired up. Ron, the car guy. He is here. He's primed. He's ready. And we're raring to go, aren't we?
We are. We're ready to take the world by the tail today.
By storm.
By storm.
There
we go.
Ooh. All right, so today we are talking about something that we've touched on.
Are we talking about geostorms?
No, not geostorm.
Remember the geostorm?
I remember that.
Yeah.
We raced those at the Grand Prix.
That's right. Remember that?
That's the one I think we end up lucking into winning that race in geostorm. Yeah. But anyway, we're talking about other vehicles.
I don't know either, ladies, what they're talking about.
It's a car.
Okay.
Okay. Geo was the brand of a car, and Storm.
Geostorm, I missed that one.
We raced geostorms in the streets of Des Moines when the Grand Prix was in Des Moines, the Rouen Greater Des Moines Grand Prix.
Okay. You might have missed that too. Not to be confused with the GeoPrism.
She was having tea parties with her dolls.
I probably would.
There we go. We're here to talk about something that is getting a lot of buzz lately, and I just saw a commercial last night for diesel cars and how much gas mileage diesel cars get. So all of a sudden, now diesel cars are getting to be all the rage.
They are. And you know, we work on a lot of diesel vehicles, and we're seeing more and more of the diesel cars. Right now, Volkswagen's probably got one of the hottest tickets as far as a diesel-operated vehicle, and they've been around for.
They had those, haven't they?
They have. They've got the TDI, the turbo diesel engine, and it's a little four-cylinder engine, and they've been out. They're out more than you realize. You know, you look at the insignia on the back of the trunk, and it'll say TDI on it, and you get up next to it, and it's so quiet. You don't realize that it's a diesel. It doesn't have the black smoke like diesels of yesteryear had and stuff like that. But you know, they've got them in the Volkswagen Bugs and in the Jettas and a lot of their vehicles and stuff. And it's actually a popular engine. Audi has one that they put in a lot of their vehicles. It's a cousin of the Volkswagen diesel. But there's more diesel engines out there in both cars and trucks than you actually realize.
Yeah, the commercial I saw was for a diesel Cruise last night, bragging about 46 miles to the gallon.
Exactly. The Chevrolet Cruise, BMW has them. Of course, Mercedes has had them for years. So
now the cost of diesel is higher, but you get better gas mileage. Does it still work out in your favor with the diesel engine? Or?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, what about the smell? Because we were talking about this because I was in the market for one a while ago, and they're talking about, oh, you're gonna get the pump handle, you're gonna smell like you're a trucker, and you've just got done filling up your tanks, you know, and you splash some diesel. Are they clean to fill, or are they still?
Well, the pump's going to work the same as a gasoline pump. I mean, and so you have to look at it now. I mean, do you spill gasoline all over yourself when you fill your car and smell like a gasoline driving trucker, or are you going to spill diesel on you? I mean, you know, you got to. I don't think that's as big of an issue.
Be as big of an issue.
No,
okay, somebody just addressed that last week. And so you have to keep that in mind. I've never thought of that. So.
And you know, as far as the smell out the tailpipe, the emissions, the smoke and stuff like that. I mean, that's been addressed. I mean, vehicles have what they call a diesel particulate filter on, which is a big filter on the exhaust that helps clean up the soot and stuff that would normally come out. Okay. And we see. I mean, you know, I don't want to say they're not problematic. I mean, it's a filter on exhaust. But they got a regeneration mode that it goes into to help clean that up. But you have to service them once in a while. They've also got, and you've maybe seen this at truck stops and stuff, but there's also pumps now with DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, and we talked about it
and people
on the show one time.
What is that? I want to buy some of that instead of my fuel.
Because it's cheaper, yeah. And it actually goes into a separate tank, and it's injected into the exhaust system of a diesel vehicle. Over-the-road trucks, I mean, it's mandated on a lot of vehicles, and it's injected into the exhaust to help clean up the emissions and clean up the soot and stuff that we normally saw come out of there. But you know, there is a risk if you're not familiar with that. We had a vehicle towed to us from Fort Dodge, where the person had inadvertently put diesel exhaust fluid into the diesel tank. And you know, and we talked about that, you know, several shows ago, that there's so many new handles at the pump anymore now. You know, you have to pay attention to what you're putting in there. But we were able to fix it, and it worked fine after that.
So you guys are all certified to handle all this?
We do. We've got ASE certified diesel technicians. We've actually I looked because I knew we were going to talk about this today. I looked yesterday on my way out the door, and we work on diesel vehicles every day of the week. I mean, we had 3 of them in there when I left last night to go home. So they're not foreign to us. We've got the special tools. Our guys go to training and stuff to know how to work on them and stuff, and we do a good job.
Okay, let's talk about the weather we've had here for the past month and a half or so, 2 months. We're talking about temperatures this morning below zero in a lot of areas. And
correct.
Diesel fuel doesn't cooperate in real cold
We
weather.
had stories in the news about some school buses that had trouble starting the gelling.
Now tell everybody
and all
what
that.
happens when it gets this cold with diesel fuel.
Well, there's a winter blend and there's a summer blend of diesel fuel. There actually is on gasoline too, but it's for other reasons. But they add what they call pore depressants and anti-gelling chemicals to the diesel. So when it gets cold, diesel fuels, it's closer to an oil. It's actually considered an oil, not a gasoline. And so when it gets cold, it'll actually start to solidify. It'll start to gel up, and I mean, it looks like jelly. So there's additives they put into it for winter use, but it's not enough when it gets this cold. So I mean, if you do own a diesel vehicle, you need to take steps. It needs to be inside where it's warm. Probably add additional additives, to the fuel just to, for safety stakes. Because if you don't, it will gel up and it won't start. And you've seen
It won't go through the fuel line.
Correct. I mean, I saw on the way here, there was a truck along I-235. You could tell it'd probably been sitting there, most of the night. And it was actually a company that picks up our waste oil, and it was sitting off to the side of the road, and I'll guarantee you it probably gelled up while they were driving it. I mean, it just happens. You're driving down the road, you've got that cold air blowing underneath onto the fuel lines and stuff, and it just solidifies. It quits flowing. It's not as bad as it used to be. They've got heaters and stuff on the fuel, but it's still. You still need to put
Still
some
a
additives
problem
in.
when it gets this cold, yeah.
And we tow. I mean, like I said, there was 3 vehicles, in the shop last night. One of them was towed in yesterday because it was gelled up. I mean, it's, minus 9 degrees outside right now. I mean, I know we'll have something towed in, gelled up today because, either people are new to a diesel or they forgot to put additive in, or they thought their spouse put it in, or whatever. But then you have to change the filters and put more additives in there and let it warm up to get it to work.
Now, something else that people may not realize if they do have a diesel vehicle, in case something like this does happen and maybe it does warm up a little bit, you have fuel flowing again, and you might have tried to start it over and over again, and you wore your battery down. To jump these things is not as simple as you might think.
Well, you open the hood of most diesels, and of course we're talking like in pickups and SUVs and stuff. In a 4-cylinder car like a Volkswagen, they have 1 battery, but most of the bigger diesel, the V8 diesel engines and stuff, they'll have 2 batteries in there. Well, the reason they have 2 batteries is it takes the power.
2 batteries.
Exactly. You're talking about a vehicle that's got very, very high compression. I mean, it's got a starter this big. And so it takes more electricity to crank that over. And so the batteries do wear down quickly, or in our battery service, we'll go out to a diesel vehicle and there's a battery that's failed. And the important thing to remember on that when you're testing the batteries, the odds of both batteries failing at the same time are slim to none. It's not going to happen. So you'll have one battery that has failed and won't pass the test, and the other one that could be recharged. They still need to be replaced in pairs because they're hooked together. So if you've got
that boost of 2 batteries.
Exactly, and if you've got a brand new battery in there and you got a battery that maybe is 75% good, it'll pull that new battery down to 75% as well, and then you start having problems in cold weather. So they always recommend, it's like wiper blades. You just replace them in pairs.
Right.
You don't just replace the drivers?
Well,
Okay. Well, see, we learned 2 things
not
new
with the
today.
KCWI special anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so excellent information. A lot of things that people, I'm sure, didn't realize.
Yeah. And I mean, diesels they affect probably a small part of the viewership that we have here, but it's still important to talk about.
And a growing number.
Oh, exactly. I think we're going to see that segment, that market, explode. Especially Chevrolets, gone to it.
Well, I was going to say with diesels
Lou's
now
gonna get one.
in cars and stuff, it's probably going to be a more common thing out there on the roadways that you need to be aware of.
Absolutely. It's popular in Europe, just because of the fuel mileage you squeeze out of it. We're looking for a lot of different alternative fuels.
sources,
Exactly. Diesel's going to be one of them. The hybrids are out there in full force right now. The compressed natural gas is I mean, it's here. It's on its way. So yeah, we're going to just see a lot of neat stuff, I think, in the industry over the next few years.
All right, so if you have a diesel, if you have any problems with it, you're the place to make a stop at.
Call Ron the Car Guy. We can help you with that.
Tell everybody where you guys are.
We're located in Clive. We're off Swanson Boulevard. You can just go to our website, westsideautopros.com, click on Find Us. It'll help you get to our place.
Great job as always.
Thank you.
Diesel guy.